I'm disappointed in President Putin. Very disappointed at him. So we're going to have to look, and I'm going to reduce that 50 days that I gave him to a lesser number because I think I already know the answer what's going to happen.
Rick, a lot of people are pointing back to President Trump, who is currently making deals, it feels like now at the EU and now at the UK, having these big meetings, but also having these conversations about ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. That was obviously a campaign promise, thought to be something that could be wrapped up fairly quickly. He's even said he's disappointed in Putin for not being able to get this done faster, and he has shortened the deadline, which was supposed to be about 50 days, I believe.
That's right.
Now down to 10 or 15 days. At this moment, I want to get your thoughts as someone who has been so directly involved in everything that's been going on, whether it was the previous Trump administration or this one currently.
What I love about President Trump's leadership is that he literally is involved in the details and watching things in real time. He adjusts. He doesn't make his policy and then walk away and hope for the best. He actually keeps adjusting when he sees the facts on the ground change. And I think what we're seeing is all sorts of different types of pressure on Russia. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. He's very focused, President Trump is very focused on making sure that we are doing things that will create a lasting peace, not just to punish, not just to reward, but to actually find ways to bring the parties to the table and make sure that there's peace. There's no question that this war, through years of Joe Biden ignoring Putin and allowing Vladimir Putin just to do whatever he wanted to do, is a deeply ingrained war that we've got to dig ourselves out of a hole. Remember, Donald Trump handed the Biden administration total peace, and what the Biden team handed back to President Trump was a total all-out war, multi-year war with massive death. And so we're trying to dig ourselves out of that hole. Thank God President Trump is reading it on a daily basis and responding in real time.
Well, and to that point as well, we've had you on. We talk about diplomacy, and that is the first step that President Trump prefers to use is to talk to these people, even though it may be taboo to talk to your adversary instead of trying to go straight in with military hardware, as some on the left may prefer. But when you look at this too, as you're mentioning, he gave them a pretty solid length amount of time to say, hey, 50 days, let's figure it out. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of seeing waking up and seeing a nursing home bombed and things like that. And then obviously, over the weekend, there was more destruction, more mass casualties in many areas. And he says, all right, clearly they're not taking this seriously, so let's move this deadline up. That right in and of itself is showing his negotiation tactics and being able to adjust, to read the room, and to not give Putin, even though everyone on the left always wants to say that he will give Putin as much space and time as he needs, he's moving that deadline up drastically of saying, look, we're in the final countdown now.
Look, only in Washington are these pathetic politicians coming up with this idea that when you don't talk to someone, especially an enemy or someone that you're in conflict with, when you don't talk to them, somehow it's a punishment. Many times it's not a punishment. It only hurts you. Talking is a tactic. Talking is not a policy. And we need to have politicians who understand that. Donald Trump understands that. He is willing to talk to anyone. He gets criticized for talking, but make no mistake, when Donald Trump goes into a conversation with a friend, an enemy, or other, they know exactly where he stands. He is pushing an America first agenda. There's no weakness in his talking. And so Donald Trump is somebody who has redefined diplomacy to make sure that talking is something that's done regularly. And many times it takes a little while to get the diplomatic solution. It's easy to do a military solution, but it's very hard to bring about peace.
Rick, in one of these clips that we played in the break before this segment, there was a commentator on CNN who they're so hard pressed to figure out how to talk about these things, because he said 10 to 12 days. I don't know if that's giving Putin more time, even though that is less than the 50 days. Like, they're trying to still make it seem like he's giving Putin a pass because they can't figure out how to report it to fit their narrative. But you also see things like the Axios put out a headline that said something to the effect about the EU deal and all these trade deals that President Trump has gotten done. Is they're like, in President Trump's deals, America gets everything and other people get nothing, as if that's not what he said about America First policy the entire time, that he has the best interest of America. That is not his problem. If other people don't get what they think they want, that is negotiating in the best interest of our country, which is, dare I say, refreshing after what we've seen out of Washington for decades.
Look, I spent 8 years at the UN, and the one thing that I've learned is that the 193 members of the UN, they all negotiate for themselves. They go in to diplomatic meetings and they fight for themselves. I've been in tens of thousands of diplomatic meetings, and I've never been in a one where the other side doesn't come forward and ask them, the American side, to do something for them. And so this is only doing what the rest of the world does. This is why the America First agenda is not controversial around the world. It's only controversial with left-wingers in Washington, D.C. and in big, huge blue states. But the reality is that fighting for your country is exactly what every other leader does. And so we need to be able to recognize that Donald Trump is fighting for America. The newsrooms don't understand it. The newsrooms have never been in a negotiation. And so they always say crazy things. We dismiss them because we realize that they don't know how to do diplomacy. They don't know how to do negotiations. They just know how to complain.
Rick, there's a lot of comments coming in right now. We're having kind of a historic day in terms of live streaming people that have come on, brand new people. We know that about half the people that watch this broadcast live, a lot of them have never seen us. And we're seeing people today, even more of historic numbers, saying, I don't know where this channel has been my whole life. I don't know why YouTube has never served this to me. This is the first time I'm seeing it. I'm subscribing. I'm getting to be a part of it. But you've been a part of the ACLJ team for a number of years now. And I wanted to give you that opportunity, as we are going to wrap up our 35 years of Justice Drive in just 3 days. I want to give you the opportunity to even introduce the ACLJ, because I know you've been involved a lot in the work we've done in the past when you were an ambassador or you were the director of national intelligence, but now obviously as a member of the team.
Look, the ACLJ is incredibly unique because it's an organization that not only communicates with the grassroots and lets the grassroots know what's happening, but we let the grassroots know what's happening with what we're doing, not just the news. We don't just talk about the news, but we actually are employing lawyers who go after the government for transparency issues, for FOIA requests. We take organizations to court to defend liberty, to defend Americans who want to just exercise their free will. What I love about the ACLJ is that we don't just talk. I don't want to be a part of an organization that just talks. I want action, and we have a whole team that does that. We have offices in Europe. We have an office in New York. We have offices in Nashville, Washington, D.C., and that's what I like, is to be a part of a group that's action-oriented.
We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Seculo program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.